Hey everybody, Joy here. It's Wednesday already. It's April 29. April is almost gone. Boy, this will be the April we never forget, won't it be? This is just a little intro. I have been making videos for days of me doing the placemat project. And so I'm going to cut out all of my blab from yesterday. I got off on talking about my past. You know, one of the ladies said, I can't believe you're talking about your personal life. Who cares? This is supposed to be about sewing. Everybody and most of you know me well and you've been following me for a long time. My channel's not about sewing. It's not about quilting. It's not about anything other than me and what I happen to be doing on a given day when I feel like making a video. I probably should call it Diary of Joy or something like that. I should change the channel name. You know, I feel so close to all of you. A lot of you have been following me for years and years and years, and you say you love me and I love you and you're my friends. Well, when I have a friend, I tell them about me, about my past, about my dreams, my hopes, my failures, my successes. That's just who I am, okay? So my channel is about me and my life and what I do on a day-to-day basis. I just happen to sew all the time and quilt all the time. That's my hobbies and that's what I do. So that's why you see sewing and quilting on my channel. So if you only want sewing and you only want quilting, please, 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 please say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You know I've lost a lot of friends, so it won't be shocking if I lose some more. There are hundreds of channels out there that are just about quilting and just about sewing, just about knitting, just about crochet, whatever. So please, please, please go find those channels. Those ladies are way better than I am at what they do because that's all they do. That's what they concentrate on the most. So several of you asked me what happened to my first husband, Philip. Well, what happened to my first husband, Philip, was first he left the state because he did not want to pay child support. And I kept calling my attorney saying he's not paying, and then they'd pick him up, and then they'd find out where he worked, and you know how all that drill goes. And then he never paid. Finally, he just left the state, so I couldn't find him and wouldn't know his address. And so he left the state till our daughter was completely grown. And I'm so naive, and I just believed that when he told me he moved that he actually did. I'm believing now that he may not have ever moved and that actually my daughter grew up with him in her life, me thinking he never was in her life. But he continued on the same path. My daughter made an absolute fairy tale hero out of him, worshipped the ground he walked on, blamed me that whatever happened had to obviously be my fault, and she was just in love with him and is to this day. If you were to meet her and you started talking about parents, she would have nothing good at all to say about me, and she would talk about him from morning till night and tell you how much fun he was and how much she loved him and how he made her laugh and blah, 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 blah. Let me just say, my first husband continued along the same road that he was on when I left him. He died, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years ago. He's 50-something. And he died with hepatitis C and completely hooked on drugs, still using them and selling them. So, yeah, not a happy ending for him. So, that's what happened there. But let's talk about placemats now, okay? Yeah. I've already taken all the films and all the shots, so I'm just going to go over here to my computer and try to edit this into some kind of understandable format, okay? Stay with me if you want to see how I quilted those placemats. I decided to finish my house placemats. I'm to the point now where, you know, so many people die. Remember Irma Bombeck? She got kidney cancer and she died very young. And she was talking, she wrote in one of her books or one of her articles about she knew she was going to die. and how she laid in bed thinking about all of the dishes and all of the bedding and all of the things that she'd put away because they were too good to use, and she was saving them for someday. She didn't want to use them. And so that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, who cares if I make these 3 placemats and they get coffee spilled all over them, or cereal, or spaghetti, or whatever. At least they will have been used. So, now I have encountered a problem, of course. And the problem is, the little houses were made one at a time. And they were pressed one at a time, with their seams going a certain direction. Now that I'm sewing houses together, I am having to change the seam allowances on every other house as I'm going, because I don't know which house is going to be where until I pick up 5 and put them together. So I've decided that just for this part of this project, I'm going to allow myself to use this Quilters Pressing Pad. Terry got me this for Christmas, and as you can see, I haven't even opened it yet. So I am going to open this, and I'm going to put it here next to my sewing machine. And I am going to allow myself to do house pressing duty on this pad. I wonder if it's the same on both sides. I think it is. This is a 12 by 18 by 0.6 pressing pad, and it is wool. And it's an excellent portable ironing pad. Well, hello, of course it is. So I'm going to put it right here on the table that you cannot see. And I'm going to get out my broken little iron. I bought this little baby iron years ago. It's supposed to be a steam iron, but brand new out of the box, it never would steam. It does not steam at all. Well, of course, for quilting, you only need a hot cotton iron, right? Not a cotton iron. The iron's not made out of cotton. A hot iron on the cotton setting. Yeah, the caffeine will kick in here. Look at the nice, really long cord they put on this. Now, that was smart. So, I'm going to use this little iron and this little pressing mat, just in case you all say, where do you get it? What is it? I'll put links below. I'm going to make these 3 placemats. I don't know how long it will take me. It'll be lunchtime in an hour. But I've decided, I don't know that anybody does it this way, but this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the placemat. Then I'm going to get some batting and put it on the back of the placemat. Then I'm going to get the backing fabric, and I'm going to cut it out the same size, and I'm going to slap it on top of this and the batting. Then I'm going to sew all the way around it, but leave a space to open it up. Then I'm going to turn it inside out, right side out. I'm going to turn it right side out. Then I will have the placemat on top, the batting in the middle, the backing on the back, and it will already be finished all around the sides. Then I'm going to just stitch in the ditch around each of the little houses. I'll stitch around the door, stitch around the house, and stitch around the roof. Then I'm going to freehand clouds in the sky in the middle. Maybe I'll put a bird up there. I don't know, it'll be fun. I'm sure I'll show you whatever I do in this video, so stay with me. Alright, it's now 12:35, and I made myself stay up here because I wanted to get the 3 placemat tops finished. Well, I got them all finished, and I was so proud of myself, but then I laid the 3 of them down on the table. You want to see what I did? I was so careful. Oh, so careful. I don't know, I guess in my brain it just didn't seem right to sew houses upside down. Let me show you what I did. Okay, so here's placemat number 1. You see how the roofs face the roofs? The houses are on opposite streets. And so then this is placemat number 2, and the roofs face the roofs. Now this is placemat number 3. And these people, I don't know if they live in a cul-de-sac or what, but anyway. I don't know, I kind of like it that way with all the houses straight up. But I got to remove one row of houses and turn it around. So I'll be back after lunch and we'll see if I can fix it properly. Bye for now. I fixed block number 3. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing this. I have no idea if this is the right way, the wrong way, take a different highway. I have no idea. This is what I'm doing, okay? I went out in my attic and I found some leftover batting from something I made. So I just simply cut it a little bit bigger than the placemats. Then I'm putting it down on top of the placemat with the bumpy side on top because I want the smooth side against the placemat. Then I don't know what this is. Most of my battings don't shrink, but just in case, I figured that if heat shrinks something, then my powerful steam iron ought to shrink this, right? So this is what I'm doing. Placemat's under it, it's already been shrunk. It's been pre-washed or ironed 100 times by now, okay? So I figure if that's going to shrink, that should shrink it, right? Okay? So then I'm going to take it downstairs out in my garage where I have the 2 big tables with a big cutting mat on top of it, and I keep it covered with a sheet. So then if I need to do something that's bigger than the room I have up here or messier, I'm getting ready to take some temporary spray and spray the placemat to the batting so it will stick to it. I don't want to do any quilting on it until I get it all together with the backing on it and turned inside out and all of that. So I'm going to take it downstairs and spray, 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 and stick, stick, stick. And then I'm going to cut the batting even with the top, and then I'm going to sew the backing on. And yay! Then I'm going to quilt it with my even feed foot. I know you're going to ask, what glue are you going to use? I have several different kinds, but this bottle's new and it's full, so I'm taking it down there. It's called Sulky KK2000 Temporary Spray Adhesive. I'll put a link to this and a link to my iron down below because people always ask me. All right, I'm headed out to the garage to my big work surface. I'll be back. So now I'm glued together. See, I'm glued together. So the next thing I'm going to do is trim the batting with my Quilter Select ruler. Now, I left a link to this, but Amazon doesn't have them. I'll leave a link again today. It's a place called Sewing Machines Plus, I think, is the name of them. Now, I don't know if these 3 placemats are going to end up the same size or not. Let's hope they're close. Oh my gosh, they're so stinking cute. So stinking cute. It's a little neighborhood. We can play like we're Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. I have sort of rounded off the measurements of all 3. They're within like a 1/16 of an inch. There's one that's a 1/16 of an inch shorter one way, longer the other way. Anyway, 20.5 by 15 is going to be the size that I cut the back. Then, when I sew the back, the 1/4 inch all the way around, the placemat should still come out all the same size. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Yes, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do after I iron it. I'm going to take my placemat. I'm going to put this on top of the placemat. Okay, so now I have the backing, the placemat, and the batting. 3 things together. I'm going to pin this all the way around, and I'm going to sew, 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 sew. And I'm going to leave an opening about 3 or 4 inches long to turn it. And then I'll just hand sew that little opening, or I'll put some steam seam 2 in there, iron it down, and then stitch all the way around it. I'll show you when I get to that part. I'll shut up for now though. tired of looking at Pinky in this outfit? Boy, I am. Let's turn her around. Let's look at the back. And how about you? About time we changed your clothes, girl. Turn your backs. Stand in the corner. Okay. I have sewn all the way around this. This is just 100% quilting cotton that I'm using. I probably got it from Missouri Star Quilt Company. So I want to show you how I sewed this. I sewed on here. No, wait, I started right here. I sewed on here, I back tacked. I came here and I sewed all the way off the end. Then I turned this thing around and I started sewing right here, and I crossed over my stitches and I sewed all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way off this end. Then I turned it around and I started sewing right here again. This is the Peggy Sager's method. This is one of the many things I've learned from her. Then I sewed all the way off the end. Then I turned it again. And I started here and I sewed all the way off the end. Then I turned it again and I started up here and sewed and stopped and backspaced. So I have an opening right here. Okay? So, I never trim my corners. I never cut my corners across the tip. If you'll learn to do it Peggy Sager's way, you will have so much nicer of a corner. Now I can't show you right now because the first thing I'm going to do is take some fray check and I am going to put it on this open cut edge of this white fabric. This is where I'm going to have to turn it inside out, and I don't want it to fray like crazy. So I'm putting a little bit of fray check there. Now, what about the houses? Well, I'm going to finish it too. I'm going to finish that edge too because that's another raw edge. The batting's no problem. Okay, so I finished both those raw edges of the cotton fabric. I just got the most brilliant idea. You know, I wish I would get these brilliant ideas at the beginning of a project instead of when I'm done with it. I could have put a dark fabric on the back of these placemats instead of white. And then when we were eating and using them, I'd have just had to turn them over and we could have used the other side. God, what a major duh! Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get all the way in here to this corner. I'm going to get up close so I can show you. And I am going to fold the corner in one way and then fold it the other way. Fold, and then I'm going to turn that corner and pull it out. Right there. Right there is that corner. See how good it already looks? Yeah. And then if you need it to be more turned than that, you can use a pin to pull it out. But this way, there's not a hole in the corner. The corner is stuffed with those two ends. Now I'm going to come over here to this corner. So I'm not sticking my hand the whole way in there. My hand's only part way in. And I'm putting the corner down to my hand. And then I'm going to turn it and turn it on my stitching lines both ways. Turn it the same direction. Then I'm going to hold it with my thumb and turn it. And turn it. And there it is. There's that corner right there. There's that corner. Looks good, huh? Yeah, it looks real good. Okay, so I've got that corner done and that corner done, so I'm going to start to pull those through. Pull those through. Those two are done. You kind of, this is fiddling. This is what I call fiddling. You just have to keep on fiddling until you get something done. So there's two more corners, and they're on the way out. This opening seems to be fine, by the way. Okay, we're coming. Here we come, here we come. I think I'll just go ahead and turn it all the way through and then go back and find those last two corners. Okay, so here's one of those last two corners. I'm going to fold it and fold it. Then you have to hold it while you turn it. That's the hardest part, is holding it while you turn it. And I let go of that one, so that wasn't a good hold. You have to hold it in the same hand that you're turning it with. There we go. There we go. Now there's one more corner. Fold, fold, and fold. Fold. And it's only 1/4 inch, so it's not easy. Fold and fold, and then turn. Yes, and look at that corner. Is that awesome? Now see, now I have a front, and I have a back, and I'm going to press it. And remember, I have this opening here that I've just stuck my hand through. I'll be back in a minute when I start to quilt the top of it, okay? I'll be back then. I'm going to tell you a tip. If you make placemats, you don't have to make these placemats. You can make any placemats. You can start with just a plain piece of fabric here and a plain piece of fabric on the front, put the batting and turn it, and have just colored placemats and just do some cross-hatching on the front of them. Sure, sure, sure. But let me tell you something that will simplify it when you want to turn it. You see, the batting is separate. It's glued a little bit, but the glue is very temporary. And so you have this loose piece here with the batting and this cotton. And when it comes time to turn that, you got the whole thing turned around, and then you got that 3.5 inches there, and you've got to turn it in 1/4 inch. It's really hard to turn that batting. The batting does not want to behave, and it's just very problematic. So, what I would do next time, and I'm trying to do it this time, but I can't do as well, but I can do it for a little ways. The part that you're going to leave open, stitch close to the edge. Stitch the batting to that piece of cotton close to the edge so it becomes one piece when you have to turn it to the inside. Okay, now this one's not turned yet. So I'm going to sew it now as best I can right along that edge. And then I'm going to turn the whole thing. Okay? Just a little tip. One tip at a time might save you a dime. You know I can't play music, so I have to make it up as I go along. See? See how I stitched it on the very, 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 very edge? Maybe you can see from the back. See from the back. See? So it'll be much easier to turn when I get it. I got the other one done. You want to see? This one's all turned with its 4/4. Not quilted yet. All turned, and then here's the part that I'm talking about right here, where I turned it to close up the open edge. Doesn't it look nice? I know. So my placemats are done. I'm so excited. My placemats are done, except for the quilting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of that Aurifil thread on, because that's what Edita Sitar says you have to use. So I'm going to put some of that Aurifil thread on this color. And then I'm going to stitch. I'm going to stitch around the roofs. And then I'm going to stitch, oh, I don't know, maybe each doorway, maybe up, over, and down, up, over, down, up, over, down. I don't know, but I'll sew down all the houses. And then in here, I'm going to do clouds. So I need to find some clouds that I can practice and copy. Isn't this fun? I've got no fabric folded whatsoever, and it's already 4 o'clock. There's not much hope for that project getting done today. I'll be back. I am interrupting this broadcast for an announcement. Yes. My lightning fast brain evidently deleted all of my quilting videos that I made the other day. So I'm going to end this video right here, stop it, and then I will start a new video all about how I actually quilted those 3 placemats. Right now it's time to go down and fix some lunch for me and my sweet hubby, and then I'm going to come back up and then I will make new video of me quilting those 3 placemats. Okay? But bye for now.